We reckon, according to various estimates, that counterfeit drugs are now worth something like £125 billion per year in terms of sales. And if we look at what's being sold, not surprisingly, online is where you can get the majority of it. £75 billion of it happening there alone. And not surprisingly, of course, we've all had those scam emails that come into your inbox offering you cheap Viagra. Industrialised countries, a big purchaser of those. If you look at developing nations, malaria, of course, a huge issue there. Malaria drugs, not surprisingly, a big seller for those particular nations. But this is a strange one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Chapstick, a big seller. I mean, it's quite surprising in some ways what actually people choose to counterfeit. And this is quite a rapidly expanding market, isn't it?
Well, yes, it's only a generation or so ago when I was active in police work that counterfeiting revolved around currency, counterfeit currency, maybe clothing and handbags and that kind of stuff, and documents to deal with cars, that kind of stuff. But of course the internet has opened up a whole new market for serious and organised crime to exploit by selling these counterfeit medicines online. It's a growing problem, it's a very serious problem, and one that really needs to be tackled.
And where do they come from?
Well, predominantly online. India and China are two of the most important source countries for these fake medicines, and actually they're not a part of this recent Interpol operation, unfortunately.
Which we'll talk about more in just a second, because it's interesting, isn't it? When you say counterfeit drugs, you think, you know, what's the problem? I can get my drugs cheap elsewhere, cut out the middleman, but 16% contain the wrong ingredients, and actually 30% of them don't actually contain any active ingredients at all. So it's not just a case that it could be ineffective, it could also be dangerous.
Yeah, and let's just drill down on those wrong ingredients. Paint, starch, metals like aluminium and mercury have been found in these counterfeit drugs. You are absolutely playing Russian roulette, potentially, with your own health if you entrust the internet to source your medication. And I really ask people, beg people, not to do it, because it is so risky as a start, and then secondly, you are probably ploughing funds into serious and organised crime and maybe even terrorism.
Which is why it's now being taken quite so seriously. I mean, we've seen various operations happening. Operation Storm, that targets Southeast Asia. Operation Mamba, that targets Eastern Africa. And this one, which targets the internet, this is one that Interpol's been very keen to talk about of late, because they have been criticised in the past, haven't they?
Oh, it wasn't so long ago that Interpol was regarded as pretty much an irrelevancy in the world of policing, but of course, as the world has shrunk and the internet has grown and borders have basically been dismantled and we live in a much more shrunken world, Interpol really has had more relevance, and actually as an organisation I think is having a reputation which is increasing and getting better. It's getting more traction, and we can clearly see by these details today just how important and useful it may be becoming.
Well, absolutely. 9.6 million fake and illicit medicines found in one operation alone, clearly having an impact. Good to have you with us. Thank you.
Pleasure.